Welcome to the Numerology and the Astrology for 6/23/2020. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 15, and if you add the 1 and the 5 together, you get the number 6. The number 6 is a number of purity. It's a rainbow arc that's over the top of your heart, and it's about giving from that place of heart. But this number is also associated with a hermit, and it's associated with Saint Hildegard. And she was an artist, she was a beautiful musician, she was a composer, she did stained glass, and she also was a nun. And so it's that place of where you put yourself into a spiritual, reflective moment, and you drop inside and you really look at life, and you really start to look at the way reality is and look at how your choices and your responses to that reality either positively or negatively impact it. So I believe that we are in a place of deep introspection, and it is working. I mean, many of us are awakening and shifting, and many are finding their courage, because once you recognize that a line has been crossed that is related to your personal moral code, you will also recognize that ignoring that signal takes a tremendous amount of energy. And that energy drain can and will eventually make you sick. That's why I think people get ill. It's like dis-ease. They're actually in a place of discomfort within themselves because they're not aligned with the larger, greater flow. And when you're out of alignment with the greater flow, you get a lot of energy coming at you in different ways. So, when you see and feel that deep inside, you understand that stepping into your courage and doing something different is not only possible, but it becomes a passionate and sometimes only choice. I find that the inner world is vast and complex. You can never meditate enough in this life to find the end point to the many ramifications of the choices, decisions, and actions that you take each day. Each choice creates a ripple that moves outward and impacts others, shifting their course and trajectory ever so slightly. We all impact each other. We are all connected by a complex grid of energy, and none of us ever do anything really alone. So the astrology today, the moon is moving out of warm and comforting Cancer and going into the powerful and passionate sign of Leo around breakfast time for many. You are being asked to become more kind and caring for those in need. You are being asked to give a helping hand and to be honest and sincere in your interactions with others. Either yourself or those you love have deep emotional needs, and your personal life is now getting disrupted by those pulls and requirements. I know you wonder if you have time to do it all, and yet somehow you will have to do more than you expected or anticipated. You have to go above and beyond the call of duty, and some might feel a bit of resentment around that demand from the universe. You feel as if you have already given so much, and now once again the universe asks for more. But you have to do what is presenting. You have responsibilities and obligations, and you cannot escape them. Instead of falling into resentment and resistance, why not embrace this as a personal pursuit and a particular situation that needs your special touch and attention? Expect things to go wrong and pull you away from your own interests. If you don't embrace your destiny, the tension is going to get to you in a big way. Resistance is not a choice. It is a response to aggression. So that last sentence, 2 sentences, is actually my quote for today. Resistance is not a choice. It is a response to aggression. So, like I talked about yesterday, one of the newspapers actually asked me to do like a reading for the United States for the 4th of July. And I took that on, and as you know, I tend to be a little bit wordy. And so I ended up with this 5-page document, and I needed something that was 700 words. So then I spent the next hour trying to cut it down from 5 pages to 700 words. And So I managed to do that. And, but I thought that what I did was something that was kind of interesting. So yesterday's blog, I actually put in the numerology chart for the US, born, 7/4/1776, and found it sort of interesting. And so you can go back to that blog and actually look at that. Then I also did, sort of a talk again about the US chart in the Pluto return that we're talking about. So today I thought I'd read that part that I wrote about the Pluto return for the US chart, because everybody's like, when is this going to be over? And I'm like, not soon. And so people get a little upset with me, but I'm like going, these are just cycles. This isn't personal, everybody. These are just cycles that we have to learn to weather. And they're designed to strengthen us. And, I can do anything if you tell me for how long. Like, I could clean toilets if you tell me for how long. And so that's what I love about astrology, is that, if I know how long I have to kind of brace myself, then I don't rush all my energy into some activity and burn out. And this is one of those moments. So, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. When I was hiking the Grand Canyon in my younger years, they talk about that men are cheetahs. And so men rush, they run and they rush. They've got all that testosterone. And so they rush down, and then as they try to climb up, they try and rush up. And when they do that, they actually burn out completely. And women are mules. So women are mules. We set a pace. We continue that pace and we keep going. And so it was always so funny to watch that, these men that ran ahead of me going down, I passed again and again going up, because I just didn't stop. I just kept being really, really consistent. I use that as the example because we are in a moment where I wish we could rush, but we are not going to be able to rush. And so you're going to have to set a pace that you can kind of keep going for a long, sustainable period of time. And you're going to have to make choices and decisions that are based in length rather than speed. So part of the problem is this Pluto return. So Pluto moves incredibly slowly, and it takes 300 years for Pluto to come full circle. So, when Pluto has been in Capricorn, it started in 2008 and it goes until 2024, technically. And so we have been in this Pluto return in the serious, dark, dreary, miserable, melancholic, moody, cold, bitter, dry sign of Capricorn. And it's heavy. It's been really, really heavy. But we were born in 1776 with Pluto in Capricorn. We were. And the irony is that back then, Pluto was at the end of Capricorn. And so ironically, we aren't at the end of Pluto in Capricorn, though we're getting there. And so it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. And I know everybody is like, oh my God, Suzanne, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you have to pace yourself. So because it takes Pluto approximately 300 years to come, 300 years, I can talk today, 300 years to come full circle in a country's chart. And unfortunately, Pluto is a planet of death, rebirth, transformation, and change. And the US is clearly in that powerful grip of Pluto's dynamic Grim Reaper. So while astrology is not necessarily perfect, nor is it pure science, it is a process of seeking ways to explain the world and predict the circumstances that arise. It attempts to make sense out of the patterns and cycles inherent in all of life. It tries to explain the subtle energies that clearly influence us on a daily basis. Astrology is a science for poets and metaphysicians as they attempt to explain the complex patterns that clearly arise from its combination of mathematics and astronomy. A Pluto return is about change. Pluto says, you will change or you will die. It's that simple to Pluto. He has no tolerance for things that limit or imprison any type of reality. Pluto shows us what holds water and what no longer serves. Pluto also offers us a rebirth. Pluto is a liberator that inspires the young to motivate those that are old and stuck in their ways. Pluto intends to bring a new world. But before that liberation, Pluto in Capricorn historically shows those that attempt to institute control and various forms and methods. However, Americans are designed to resist that type of control. And I know that the freedom fighting energy in the hearts and souls of our people will resist any further incursions into our promised freedoms. We are still dealing with the lingering effects of the Saturn conjunct Pluto. Typically, this astrological combination brings economic contraction, a massive shift in power structures. It is a moment when the younger generation refuses the patterns of fear and control that defined the older generation. Both of these planets are designed to clear the way. Saturn wants to get rid of what is not working. Pluto wants to wipe the slate completely clean and start over. In the negative sense, these planets will ripen karma and make things visible that had been carefully hidden. In the most positive sense, both of these planets want to bring about tremendous healing. After all, they are both planets where common sense is valued, and that gives me hope. Astrologically, this moment was designed to reveal a powerful mirror to America's shadow. If we can find the way to unify and stop the divide, then an ugly reckoning may be avoided. But even if we have a terrible environmental crisis, an economic collapse, or another worst-case scenario, I believe it will only ignite a powerful sense of purpose in this country. The question becomes, will we regain respect in the world? Will we choose to lead this world into a new age? Or will we fade into the sunset? Just another Camelot, lost to time.